So that's the error handling that you need to test.
Here, we have mentioned two, but the second row is also not updated. But why only the error is showing only in 3 places? Why not in other places? Because
it is not an error on 3 places. This indicates that these are mandatory fields that you need to provide your input for. Because when you book multiple tickets, of course you need passenger information for every passenger, but you can book it as a group as well. So that is why this condition has been surfaced here. It can be a bug as well. Don't get me wrong. It can be a bug as well that all the passenger details have to be provided for insurance, for safety purposes, for TCA, to validate, to track the input and output and outflows and everything. But it all depends on the business who's driving the application needs. So we see this step and then we go on to the next. This is the confirmation. Now, for any and every application that you will work on, you will have an application which has objects. These objects will work together as a unit to provide you a feature. Combination of features will work in a function to provide a service. Right? For example, you were authenticated, step 1. After authentication, you selected a flight. You provided your choice of flight. Then you provided passenger information. And then you got the confirmation of booking. So what we were doing here is book a flight business process. This business process is broken down to several steps. Each step has several objects associated with this step. So when we test, we have to test the entire feature for every step.
I have a question. This is called end-to-end testing?
No. This is just validating a business process. So this is validating book a flight. That's it, nothing else. When you talk about end-to-end, then you're talking about when I create a user in the system, who will be able to get authenticated, who will have options for X number of flights, who can use only master credit card. Those will be the end-to-end, which are dependent on some other systems as well. Because authentication is being handled by a separate system in which the user has to be created. When you do it like that, then yes, that's end-to-end. Where all the components of the system and ancillary support systems work and you validate from the beginning to the end.
I'm just giving you an example.
I don't know your name, I'm sorry.
Ravina.
Okay, Ravina has a question, everyone.
Okay. See, if there is a case like this, I'm booking, I don't know where Attack goes or Google Chess, so I'm giving you an example of like JFK to Bombay.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm booking it for April 1st from JFK to Mumbai and on April 2nd from Mumbai to JFK. And the time difference, maybe if you say same example, I can take 5-3 in the past, and from Mumbai to JFK, it departs at 12:23 p.m. So you hardly get a gap, like say if there is, or maybe some other time, we have only 6 hours in between. And you book it, and the system allows me to book. But actually speaking, the travel itself is like 8 to 9 hours example. And the system still assists me to book again. And who is responsible for this error? Because I'm not even landing to take the next flight.
Okay.
As a business proposition to get money from your customer, this is a very good choice. Because the customer has not even reached the destination and you're asking him to pay for your return ticket as well. But does that make business sense?
No, but...
Which means what? The business will define the combinations of the flight.
Right, but...
If you're booking a flight from JFK to New Delhi or to Bombay, and you're expecting a return as well available in the choices or the list of choices that you will get, 99% of the time what so happens in the travel industry, the going flight will come back. That's how the combinations are.
Okay.
So if you're looking at going flight and coming back, they will obviously not give you a departure from your destination, which is before the arrival of the flight. So these are the validations that they will need to perform in the data set itself, where the developers will be responsible for doing all this combination.
But more involved on the business analyst.
It is the business, it's a business decision to support a booking.
Right.
In that booking, they will mandate, they will put conditions in the requirements itself that the return ticket cannot be booked unless the departure time of the return flight is greater than the arrival time. This will be a business condition which needs to be coded in your application so that when the combination is served to you, you do not get the combination served itself. It's a very valid point. I know her BA hat is on, that's why she's thinking all this.
But the question is, I agree, but when BA gives you this conditions to the developers, and the developers does all this checking in the code. Now, as a tester, I don't know to read the code. Now, assuming I get this application, right? So, since I'm a person, I don't know how to read the code. Based on the BRD requirements, I have to come up with these cases, right? Because if I know to read the code, then I can go and test as per the if loop or for loop, whatever that guy has written. But if I don't know, as a layman, if I don't know to read the code, I have to come up with the cases based on what the BR.
That's where the
BR has given it to me, right?
That's where the expertise of the QA analyst comes into play to identify data that meets that condition to be tested. So writing a test case is a very simple thing. This is what should happen. But what are the test conditions that need to be certified with this data? And what data needs to be used? That comes with experience. That's why people prefer, when they hire someone, that the person has experience in the industry in which they are. Why do you think people insist that you have, if you have experience in finance industry, you can get a job in finance? But if you've just done client-server testing and have no experience in manufacturing, people would not prefer to take you on. But, well, they can take you on, but there's a cost that is involved for them to help you get up to speed. Everyone online, are you clear on what the discussion is all about?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, clear.
So what we saw in this application, we understood what are the various type of objects that are used in an application building process. So that's my next question, which you need to add. And the question is, what are the various types of objects that are used to create web applications and client-server applications? Because once you understand the variety of objects that are used, you will be able to relate to the object and its features. So once you know the properties of that object, you are very clear on what needs to happen with them. It will be very easy part for you to work on the rest of the stuff throughout the class. So now what we saw here, our business process is divided into multiple steps. So I would be expected to test my booking for various combinations. I can book a single flight, I can book a return flight, and I will have conditions like what you just mentioned, that my customer should not get a return flight if my arrival time has not passed. That will be a condition that you will test. You will do the same process, but when you are testing for available flights, the combination that you get for available flights for return, you will have to correlate the timing. That my arrival at destination is less than departure from destination. So these are your test data conditions that you will need to work on. Now, another important aspect that I want to share here with you. Some parts of the business process can be common processes. For example, when you log into your bank account, what can you do in your bank account? You can look at reports, you can look at your balances, You can make payments to your lenders, your mortgage account, your trading account. You can transfer money from one account, one type of account to another type of account. All this can be done, right?
Even you can pay your mobile bill.
You can pay.
Recharge your mobile bill.
Yeah, you can. You can pay. You can make payments. You can make payments to your various vendors, right? In some cases now you can actually deposit as well online. You can take the image of your deposit instrument, for example a check, give them the image and they will credit your account with that amount.
Yeah, actually don't. Big supply vendors, they are doing that. They just scan it, send it to the bank and money comes to your account.
There you go. There are banking organizations that will accept a check image from you and provide the credit to your creditor with no problem at all. But what is the common segue into all these processes? Login. So login is common with any other function that you want to perform, right? Similarly, when you want to go onto a mail account, let's say you want to log into your Gmail, you still need to log in to read your email, to write an email, to make a calendar booking, to send an invitation, to review what are the options that you have here. So common object is your authentication piece, right? So in all these business functions that you need to validate for an application, you must understand what are the common functions that you can look at. The idea of the common function is that whatever are the steps that you write for these common functions can be used multiple times. So if I am looking at a report, my end of month statement of my bank account, I need to log in, go to my credit card, see my statement. Now I want to transfer money. I need to log in, go on to my overview of the account and then transfer money. So you need to identify these common elements that you have in the business process. Because by keeping these common elements in the business process, what you are doing is you are generating something called modularity in your testing. Because what will happen is, if I can certify my login process once, it will work the same every time. Which means what? I will not have to test the login part for every business process. Thereby what am I doing? I am reducing my testing time. Another example that I can give you with this website, the header of the web page that you are looking at, or the left navigation bar that you are looking at for this page. I am not sure if you noticed, it's common across all pages in the application. Which means if you've tested this once, 99.9% chances are that it will be on every other page and will also work the same way.
Question is, right. So when you say login page, let us say for logging and booking the account, booking the ticket, there's a login module which I have tested, okay? And let us say the same thing, there can be additional functionality when somebody is going to log in and cancel the whatever booking.
Looking.
So that's going to have, again, it's a login feature. We are going to add the same login.
See, the login part that you have in the business process is same.
It's the same, right?
Right.
So, as a tester, when I see another module there, let's say for example, I am doing the booking account and she is doing the cancelling part of the testing. I have checked the booking part of the testing, which means I have checked the login and the password. Done. Okay, and when she is doing the cancelling part of module, does it mean that she can I keep the login thing something in common? So is it something she need not test it once again, or how? What are you trying to tell me?
When you're trying to test features of the business process,
some features are common.
well, that's what we're going to. For example, authentication piece is common.
Common, right?
But authentication piece is not just access for a valid user. The authentication piece also needs to be tested for invalid credentials.
Correct.
How many times can the user be providing invalid credentials before the user is blocked?